one tribe, together we vibe.
Good energy, high vibration, great conversation is what we provide.
This is the Good Folk Podcast. I am your boy, Ballin' Boy Trey. And I got my girl, Boss Pretty.
Hey.
My boy Ted's can't be here today, man. You know, things happen. So me and Pretty, we going to rock it out, man.
Most definitely.
You
Good
feel
conversations.
Me? You know, we're going to keep it hot, spicy, as always.
Good debates, hopefully.
Definitely good debates.
Okay.
But,
We'll see.
Yeah.
We ain't never been by ourselves, and y'all know he's my rival. So
you know who the champ gonna be then.
Y'all already know, not him.
But however though, man, like how your week been, man?
My week has been great, blessed as always. I do want to take a moment and thank God. So on March 2nd, I got in a car accident with a drunk driver. Totaled my car. The same car I was bragging about months ago. Totaled out my car. But I thank God because I could have not been here. I could have been in the hospital. I could have had broken bones, but I walked away completely fine. Only a broken nail. So for that, Lord, I thank you. The car is replaceable. I'm not. And, hey, I've been able to still go to work. I ain't missed no money.
Sure. You still here. You still rocking with it.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Lord, I thank you.
You know, when you told me that, it kind of shook me for real, because, you know, Angie Stone just had an accident in
It was
Montgomery.
the same night.
For real?
It was the same night.
Oh, man, that's crazy. 18-wheeler actually hit her. Yeah, who was driving? You don't know who was driving because it was hit and run, right?
Yeah. The person didn't stop, but it was a wrong way driver on the wrong side of the road, and I tried to swerve and miss them, and I did kind of panic. I did, but I lost control of the truck and I hit a pole. But yeah. One of the wheels popped off the car, so it was only 3 wheels on this. So I thank God the car didn't flip.
Yeah.
I didn't have no seatbelt, so I thank God that I wasn't, ejected from the car. It's a lot of different things that could have happened. There's a lot of people that been getting in car accidents and haven't been making it out, or when they do, they in critical condition. So again, I thank God.
For sure. That's a blessing, man, because it has been a lot of accidents, like, frequently happen, like, throughout the week. Yep. And it's like, damn, man, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, Angie Stone accident, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Like,
it shocked everybody.
That was crazy. I don't know, like, accidents happen. That's why I call it accident.
Right.
But, man, it was an unfortunate loss, you know what I'm saying? That happened. I'm just glad you safe.
Right.
But yeah, just next time put on your seatbelt though.
I do. It ain't funny, but I do wear it a lot more now. I really do. I mean, it was lessons and things within it. Then I also took it as a sign that God sits you down sometimes to refocus you, to realign you, to isolate you. And it was some goals and things I set for myself for the year that I do know I wasn't fully focused on. I was distracted. If I'm being honest, I was hanging out more than I was hanging out.
So you was outside.
Auntie was outside.
You was outside that night then. See?
I was, and I'm not really a drinker, but I was drinking more than I was because I was hanging out more.
Yeah.
So it was like certain things that I was doing, getting distracted, getting off my path. So I felt like it was to sit me down to refocus.
Yeah, God have his ways of doing that, you know what I'm saying, to get our attention.
Facts.
Especially when we doing things like that. Like,
Facts.
Not necessarily doing wrong, but you ain't focused on, like,
what he's trying to get you to do. Yeah. Things y'all talked about, goals, your purpose.
Yeah.
Stuff of that matter. Yeah,
but I'm glad that it got you back focused. So now you know how to move and what to do.
Auntie, like, on the porch right now. I ain't outside. I'm outside, but still at the house.
Auntie need to be in the bed. Been outside too much.
Nah, but yeah, I
But
be chilling. But
yeah, that's good though, man. My week, my man, like everything has been good for real, for real. Like I ain't even gonna lie, it's been You remember that episode where like the last episode we did last year?
Mhm.
And I was like, I pray to be uncomfortable,
Mhm.
to be able to execute in a lot of areas that I need to without the fear. You feel what I'm saying? And God has really been working in that for me, like in that area. Like it been blessings coming, and it's been like I've been a little startup because of the comfort of it.
Right.
But it's like this is what I asked for. So it been challenging, getting uncomfortable when you used to, in a certain comfort. But then it's like, okay, if you set these goals and it's time to execute these goals, it might cause you to be uncomfortable. So it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm moving towards, what I said I was going to do, and this is what I asked for. So as I've been becoming uncomfortable with, some of my goals of me achieving, it's been interesting because I've been learning something about myself. It ain't that I was uncomfortable for real. It was just like the fear. It was fear.
True. But God didn't create us to fear.
Facts.
And then it's always beneficial, and the purpose is to learn from everything. So the fact that you learning something that's positive already too so soon with being in the third month of the new year.
Yeah. Because
so,
it been moving pretty fast. I ain't even going to lie. We already third month in, going into spring.
Time to be outside.
See, look, you just said you were going in on the porch for a second.
But see, the difference is I'm a summer baby too. But this is like water sports season, cruise season, beach. I'm a Florida girl. So, this is like the start. Because summer is my real season. But yeah, this is like the introductory.
It's definitely my season. I'm a Gemini, so, June, we all outside.
Man.
Wait, what you got to say about this Geminis? Because I feel like we're the best people on earth.
See, that's the thing. Y'all always take stuff too far.
No, we don't.
Then y'all don't even know who y'all is for real because y'all two different people. So I'm just confused on how that even works. No offense to the Geminis. I'm just saying that's a true fact about y'all.
Man, listen. We are incredible people.
I'm not saying y'all bad people. Y'all really are really sweet people. Y'all are loving. Until that other side come out. Then it's just like...
There's just some shit within like...
And I ain't saying that people don't do things to trigger y'all or make y'all feel that way. But I do feel like majority of y'all have communication problems. Y'all not communicative enough to allow a person the opportunity to address it, change it, fix it. Y'all just like shut down, move different.
Yeah.
Go-go's.
Yeah.
Weird.
That ain't weird. Sometimes
it is.
That shit called for without, the extra.
No, it depends on what a person do. But you should always give a person an opportunity to know what they did to make you feel some type of way.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether y'all work on it or not, they still deserve to know.
I mean, that be the intentions. It just don't always flow that way. You get what I'm saying? Like
you just said sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, sometimes it does. You know what I'm saying? But the intention is to kind of like communicate.
Like you can leave a note, you can send a text message, and then block them so they can't respond or you can't see it.
That's
like,
too much.
What? How?
That's too much.
Because if the intent is to do it, you'll do it. Because if you intend to eat, 9 times out of 10 you gonna eat, right?
Yeah.
Even if it ain't at that moment, you're going to do it, right?
I don't know what I'm going to eat, though.
It don't matter. You're going to do it.
Soon.
Right?
At some
if
point.
your intentions, my point, if your intentions is to take a shower, what you going to do? Eventually, even if it ain't that moment, you're going to take a shower. If you say, I mean, we could go on and on. So if your intent is really to say something to that person, at some point you will, even if it's not then.
Yeah.
Eventually you would.
But it
ain't your true intent.
It
So
is,
don't say that.
just
No, it's
not on their terms.
It's not. It's on your terms because they don't even know that you want to say
so
something.
It might be next year if I really want to just, like, I apologize with having all that shit. You feel me? It don't got to be right then.
This is why we debate. Because next year, at that point, it don't even deserve a, you addressing it at that point.
But they still going to be like,
you done already ghost me for a year. You think I care now why you ghost me?
You think people don't still want closure? Come on now. I
feel like it depends on the person.
Exactly.
And after a year, you ghost me, baby, I don't even care about the closure no more. Because at that point, I don't even care about you. Wait, that's crazy.
You might not, but, people hold different kind of feelings towards others. So,
but if that person felt that type of way about you, to a certain extent, you had to care about that person and that you went and did them like that.
Nah, it don't be the intentions of the doing. It's just.
But you telling me for a year you didn't think about me enough to let me go and apologize or explain to her.
I ain't saying think about you. I just didn't put up the effort to come to you.
Because you don't care enough. So the intent is not, it's pure. It's not pure. It's not genuine. You just said to make it sound good, but it's cool. That's fine. But your intentions is not pure.
It is 100%. However, we are the best.
Anyways, Leos are definitely the best. But
we ain't gonna get into all this Leo and this astrology stuff because we'll be going back and forth
all day. But y'all good people.
All right, that's
shout out to Geminis.
Yeah. Show some type of gratitude. Golly.
But bigger shout out to Leos. Hey.
Man, y'all like.
But
nah though. So I just seen this article about Target. They lost $1 billion since the strike. How you feel about that?
About Target losing the money or just about the situation in general?
Target losing the money. Because they really need that shows that they need our dollars.
And when you say ours?
I mean ours as in the black community.
Okay. I would say I ain't for nobody losing money unless they are against us. Then by all means, they should lose any profit that comes from our community. But I will say also, too, I love the fact that our community was able to come together in some type of form, shape, and stand together and do something together, have some unity, because that's the number one thing our culture lacks, is unity.
Yeah, it is. It's a couple other things, but that's probably
But that's number one. Yeah,
that's probably
number one, unity.
And to see us just make a point with that, it feels good to know that it can be possible for other things to come together if we come together.
Yeah, we will.
But it take more leaders, you know what I'm saying, to do that.
Most definitely, but I feel like as a culture, we tend to forget how powerful we can be and how powerful we are. And no offense to no other culture, but we are the most dominant culture.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's crazy that we lack as much unity as we do, knowing that we have the power that we have.
But why you think it's like that, in our community, with our culture?
Because it's set up like that. They set up they set it up for us to fail and for us to envy each other, and which is why you see all the liquor stores in the hood, but you barely see liquor stores in the suburbs.
That's true.
They always dropping the drugs off and all the negative things, the clubs. 9 times out of 10, they're in the hood. They're not in the suburbs. And if it is, somewhere it's like downtown and it's more upscale, dress code, stuff like that. But I feel like we get blinded by material things also. It's like everybody wanna in our culture tend to, I ain't gonna say everybody, but majority of everyone in our culture want rather compete with each other instead of uplift each other, help each other, support each other, push each other, motivate each other. Um, and I think it starts most definitely at home.
But why do you think that we don't support each other the way we should? Because we really don't support each other. Far as like, just say you start a business, right? And it could be like a salon or anything. You feel me? Our own people will go against us because of the fact of how we doing in that business. Like, it's nothing that could like deter us from each other but us.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I've been trying to understand that, like, we can go support the white people, the Indians, the Arab, because we buying out their stores. They on our block,
yeah.
but we spend our money with them that we could own, right? But if a brother or a sister go get a store, we won't support them. We won't go and buy them.
Now, honestly, some of it definitely comes from customer service, professionalism. When it comes to our community, to people is a lot of favoritism. They pick and choose who they want to charge what, and it tends to turn people away from your business. If you're gonna be disrespectful with me, you're not gonna handle me right. I love to compare it to McDonald's to Chick-fil-A. People love going to Chick-fil-A. People love saying, "Oh, they food ain't that good." It's not about the food. It's the customer service that you get when you go there. And it's actually African American workers there too.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. So you can't make it by, oh, they white on or it was a whole bunch of white people. No. Everybody that they hire is in their contract to say my pleasure. That's in their contract when they sign up for the job, to say that when somebody say thank you or when you're serving somebody.
So you think we lack community service? Like, we don't respect each other enough.
Professionalism and customer service, we definitely lack a lot. But everybody want a business. Everybody want somebody to support them. Or time management. When it comes down to it, sorry hairstylists, but I gotta say this to a lot of people. When it comes down to it, if your client is late, and it's just one of many businesses, because it ain't like I'm targeting just them. I don't want it to seem like that. But it's just a great example. So when it comes down to the clients, your clients can be late, and you're going to charge them a late fee, or you're going to cancel. But if you late, or something come up, you do nothing to accommodate your client. What about their schedule? What about their life? What about what they have going on? But if you go to a professional business or somewhere else, because some people feel like, oh, because you my cousin or because you my sister, I can move how I want to move with you. No, business is still business.
For sure.
But also, but also we have to understand, as a community, a lot of times we don't want to pay the full dollar, but you'll go pay the full dollar with the white man, but you want a discount because this your sister, because this your daddy. No, business is business. Whatever your price is, I don't care who you are. Can't nobody say I ever asked them for a discount. Whatever you charge for your service, if I want it, I'm going to pay for it. I don't care. My sister do hair. I never asked her for a discount. Never asked her to do my hair for free. Never, nothing. Because that's your business. That's how you feed your kids.
Thanks.
Everybody don't look at it like that, though. So they get mad when, oh, well, why you charging me the same thing you charging them? Because you getting the same service that they get when they come.
Yeah. And then, too, with the policies, like, every business have a policy. Like, with a late fee.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I think that we don't, because, like you said, because it's like a family member or a close friend, they feel like they don't have to respect that. Even though it's business, and this is how I make my money, that I feed my family, and this is how my business is structured and designed, but it's still, like, it goes for everybody.
Right.
Like, the policy is just not set for, like, random customers. It's set for everybody.
Right.
So I think that, like, that goes to entitlement, in a way. Because some of our people feel like they are automatically entitled to certain things because of relationships.
Facts.
Now, I disagree with the entitlement.
Facts.
Because in business, it's business. You get what I'm saying? And like people will try to manipulate situations off of
Use you,
relationship.
all that.
And it's like, how we gonna come together if we still cheating ourselves at the end of the day? Because if you're not respecting my policies and my business, then you're not helping me you're not helping the culture as a whole. Because it's going to take me as a business person, you as a customer, to keep this flowing and to set the example on how it should be.
Right.
But we don't always get that. And I think another reason why, too, is because, like, so many people want to be bosses that don't have that leadership.
At all.
But do you think it's from, like, the teaching of it, though?
I mean, it's definitely been what they're being taught. First of all, it's this false persona with social media that it's so easy for everybody to become a boss and get rich, especially with TikTok and stuff, because it is ways that you can do stuff. But I hate that we live in a world and a society, because this is not just culture based, but a world and society where people would literally diminish their character. They lose their self-respect, morals, all that, just to go viral on social media, just to make some money on social media. Don't nobody want to work. Don't nobody want to go to school. Don't nobody want to do nothing. It's just by partying and going viral, literally.
Having fun. They outside. They're outside. So I think that's why, too, like, that's why we losing a lot of the youth because of the examples. And it's like no one is really like being that example or that leader to guide them to be better. So at the end of the day, like, if my daughter go to your salon, just hypothetically, you feel me, and her mother go there, right? If she see her mother doesn't have to, her mother get a discount, she feel like she get a discount.
Right.
But in all reality of it, it's like this still a business. So whatever I see mama do, I feel like I can do the same thing, right?
Yeah,
just because, like, I know, like, this is my mama friend, however, you feel me? Or somebody she know really well, they have a good relationship.
True.
Well, that example falls down the line because, like, she feel like because mama entitled to this, mama
because
feel like she entitled. Connect. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So you see how, like, that's why I go to the teaching of it, because, like, we only see, well, I ain't gonna say we, but, like, kids see what the adults do.
Facts.
And it kind of like aligns because they are doing what they being seen taught, what they are seeing to be taught.
Facts.
And it is misguided in a way, and then it's still like, okay, what is the real purpose in it? Because you don't really get now. You get a reason. Oh, that's my friend. She should give me a discount, right? But the purpose is like me as a customer. Customer service, like you said, it's all should be respected. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, yeah, I see mom. She go get her hair done like every other week. But mama don't never pay the full price. She see that. So it's like, okay. She feel like she could tell her friend, and her friend feel like she get a discount. My mama do it. So it's like, I say that to say, the teaching of it. Kids see what the adults do, and they follow behind that. Something simple as that lead to destruction in other areas.
Now, I would say it's definitely in reference to the teaching. The teaching definitely plays a big part. But I will say, too, it's like the outlet of freedom. Like the free will to allow kids to do what they want to do. with our generation, prior generations growing up, we didn't have so many options. I'm not saying don't allow your child to be who they are. Never take that away from your child. But for one, parents give kids electronics. They can't get them themselves. So when they get exposed to a lot of this stuff, it starts with the parents, the teaching, things like that. But two, when we were growing up, our parents sometimes made us go outside. So we had no choice but to interact with kids in the neighborhood. We had no choice but to use our imagination. We had no choice but to find something to do. As far as like after school programs, that was not optional. Our parents made us go to Boys and Girls Club, made us go to Girls Inc., made us do certain stuff. True, because they had to work and, due to childcare, things like that. But I feel like a lot of parents don't do that no more. They allow their kids to stay home or allow the child to raise the other child, things like that. And it breaks that unity. So that's why you have so many different sides and groups and friends and gangs and all that we didn't have. We always had groups of friends. You always had small gangs here. But it's more now because they're not forced to get to know nobody in the neighborhood. Everybody's in the house all day. But literally, we knew all the kids on the whole block. Why? Because everybody was outside. So it built unity. It built friendship. We would have never talked to them people if we wasn't outside hanging out. If our parents ain't make us go outside, if they ain't lock us outside or say, if you come back in the house, you staying in the house. So you wanted to stay outside. So you met different people. You interacted. No matter if they was black, no matter if they was white, no matter the race, you created friendship. You created, I'm sorry. You created that unity to the fact that even when it came time to move or it came time for you to go to a different school, every child, if they say they never experienced this because they ain't never moved, but experience at some point, I believe, you cried over a friendship. You cried over like being disconnected from somebody that you spent your childhood with, whether it was like always seeing each other at school. Now y'all going to two different separate high schools or two different middle schools. Or again, we used to seeing each other in the neighborhood. Now you got to move away. I got to move away. But all that started with going outside, meeting each other.
Yeah. And because it's still a community thing at the end of the day. And it's like, if we don't bond in that way, like with the kids, bonding in the community together to understand certain things about each other and to learn how to respect each other and things like that, it's almost like, okay, you could put a group of kids together, right? But due to how the world is revolving right now, it's like it's only impacted by negativity.
Right.
So it's kind of a fight with getting them to see the positive side of things when there's so much negative around it. And as a community, that's what kind of influenced a lot of other peers, because like if you look at the black community, like we known for violence. Like it's sad, but it's like, anything go wrong, anything go left with this or shooting or robbery, it's a black man, it's a black girl. You feel what I'm saying? Rape, it's hard to really, I ain't gonna say it's hard, but it's challenging to really just to get the minds to collab together to see what's going on. So you look at today's time with Trump being in office and the things that he's changing around, that's going to affect us in a way with those that have bliss. And when you look at that, it's like, okay, you got kids in the hood that don't have much, but they probably have a good teacher, a good coach, right? So it's still a person somebody trying to impact them in a positive way. But sometimes it go farther, sometimes it don't reach. Because at the end of the day, they still going back to what's home. So home might not be the full it may not be the full impact that the kids should have, because you never know what might go on in their home versus what they say at school, what they get out their coach. Like, none of that. So it's like we are raising a generation that doesn't understand yet.
No, we're raising a generation with lack of guidance. They can't understand what they don't know. So if they're not being guided properly, I feel like again it falls back with the parenting, and lack of attention. A lot of kids get into a majority of the things that they get into because they feel like they're not being seen, they're not being heard. Of course, they're going to get mad, they're going to get upset when they get to a point that they're not getting their way, or, they want to do something and they can't do it, things like that. But majority of it comes, and I'm not saying if a child is loved properly, they still cannot steer wrong or still will not make mistakes. It's a part of living. But I do highly believe if more kids were invested into, listened to, got that actual love, that attention and stuff that they needed, it wouldn't be so many gangs. It wouldn't be so many boys, because it definitely come with boys too. But it wouldn't be so many boys falling into their homeboys or being followers instead of leaders, but that's something too. You with the parenting is something I feel like a lot of adults don't realize the impact that it has on the child when you yelling at them about something, but you're not getting the full understanding on why they did what they did. Because you're basing it off because you want your child to be perfect, and there's no such thing as perfect. I do understand sometimes too you want to keep them out of harm's way, but sometimes too, as adults, we have to understand experience is the best experience. We was once kids. Our parents told us not to do things, and we still did it. But it's like we get kids, and now it's like we acting like our parents, and we're getting mad, and we're reacting and responding. It's breaking generational curses. I ain't saying being your child friend, be your child's safe haven. Be your child's protector. Be somebody that they're comfortable to talk to, somebody that they're comfortable to spend time with, somebody that they're not embarrassed of, no matter what it is. And then I feel like a lot of it comes from culturally, a lot of our kids having kids. So if a child is raising a child, what are you doing? Because you haven't even figured yourself out yet. You don't even know who you are. You don't even know what life is going to bring. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, because God write the story. So it's a blessing in every child. And my mom had me early, and I thank God, before she graduated high school, and I thank God for it. But it do show me the difference in what I want to do for my kids. Now, the way she raised me was very strict, very stern.
Yeah.
She lived her life, but she also took care of us. Ain't nobody else raised us. We went through like trials and tribulations, like staying with people, but our lights weren't never off. And I wouldn't say staying with people, my grandma. We stayed with my grandma. But like we had our fair share of ups and downs. But my childhood, my life, honestly, was great. Outside of my own personal emotional things, my childhood was great. Never went without anything. Got things I didn't ask for. Went on a lot of trips. Went a lot of places. But I had a 2-parent household too. I think that's something major in our culture that we lack. Whether it's a biological dad or not, having that 2-parent household is very, 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 very important. As a single parent, yes, you can't be there all the time, especially if you got multiple kids. It's impossible to give them all the same attention. But as adults, again, we're not thinking about that. Everybody like being selfish and thinking of themselves. They're not thinking of the kids. So you may feel like, yes, I see all my children, yeah, I'm spending time with all them, but you're one person. It's always one child getting more attention than the other. But if you got 2 parents in the household, it's more evenly divided, and one parent can spend it's still about getting that attention that you need, whether it's from both parents or one parent. That child still need that love. They need to feel comfortable. If a child do not feel comfortable in a household, they're going to act out. They're going to do things. They're going to get around the wrong people. They're going to interact with the wrong crowds. And whoever makes them feel loved or seen first is what they're going to run with. So if it's a bad crowd, they see me, they listen to me, they made me feel like somebody. Yeah. So why wouldn't I ride for them? Why wouldn't I support them? Why wouldn't I be there for them? Why wouldn't I want to be around them? Y'all don't care about me. Y'all don't see me. Y'all don't like. And as parents, we're not thinking about that. We're only thinking about the reaction. And true enough, I don't got kids yet. But I think that's the beauty of me not having kids yet. Because it's like I could sit back and analyze my whole life at 32 and also like watch what other people go through. So at certain things, I would never still be the perfect parent. But I also know how to go about certain things when it comes to society and personally myself with the bond that I would want to have with my kids and the way I would want them to feel and, things like that. But it definitely starts at home. Most definitely.
That's why it's important for kids to have both parents in the household.
Thanks.
Because the mom and the dad have an impact on a child from different perspectives.
Thanks.
A man implementing the structure and the discipline, and the woman,
protection.
and the protection always, and the woman showing that caring and love.
Yep, nurturing.
Yeah, you're a mother, right?
Stop playing with me. Not you trying to be funny. Not yet. Not yet.
But just to say, you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? You know what to do. But that is like why kids should have both parents, because it makes a difference. Mm-hmm. And I grew up with one parent. My grandma really raised me, but I had males in my life to show me about masculinity, far as like discipline, being structured, respectful. You feel me? And my grandma, she definitely like showed me that, but it was the old fashioned way.
Right.
Which is different to the like now, because everything has evolved differently than like the last 10 years. So you look at the last 30 years, it's different in how kids are being raised and what they're exposed to. And the internet has really just exploded with everything.
Took over.
So I feel like because it is leaders out there that's still pushing and doing like a great job. But it should be more activities and programs for kids. I feel like it's not enough. What I mean by that is like, okay, there should be more boys and girls clubs, more after school programs, something to keep their minds focused and not altered into the negativity. Because if you feed them so much positivity and you reward them for that, then it becomes a different outlook than like the kid just going home, going back to the hood. They might have a good day at school, but then when they come home, they back in the hood, or they back seeing mama, daddy, whatever they go through, and it started to affect them emotionally, because now it's like, okay, which way should I go from here? I'm getting this at school, I'm getting this at home.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it still takes more than one. Because I still had good teachers. You see what I'm saying? Outside of like my guardians, I still had good teachers. I still had OGs in the hood, like, to tell me right from wrong type shit. Right. You feel what I'm saying? But in today's time, with the generation, with the whole internet thing, it's like it's easy for a person to state their opinion about you and your child. And that's crazy, because if you look at, like, I don't know. Have you seen you seen the LeBron and Steph Curry stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I mean not Stephen A.
Steve. Oh yeah.
By his son.
Yeah.
You feel me? Okay. He stated his opinion about his son, about LeBron's son, Bernie, right? Mm-hmm. LeBron got offended, but it was only his opinion. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, if that was your child, right, and somebody just stated an opinion that they entitled to, how would you feel if everybody gets that same treatment?
What you mean, everybody get that same treatment?
Okay, he's an NBA player, right?
So the opinion that
the criticism,
he do it to everybody.
Everybody gets it. But because he's LeBron's son, right? It's like,
so honestly,
it should be respected more.
As somebody that don't have kids, I know that parents are always real parents. Naturally, you're gonna always be overprotective of your child. You don't want nobody speaking negative on your child. You don't want nobody mishandling your child. You don't want nobody loving your child wrong. You don't want none of that. And I don't even have kids. That's just what I see with my eyes with real parents. So I would expect that I would definitely feel some type of way. But it's not about you stating your opinion. It's based on what you say when you're stating your opinion. I don't know what was said because I don't know the comment or this scenario, and to kind of be out the loop a little bit. But if it's something offensive, yet alone, even if it's offensive to my child and my child comes to me and they're bothered as a parent, you're going to get in.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Protection mode.
He wasn't saying nothing bad. It just wasn't to LeBron's liking that he should have spoken in that way.
But how do you know it wasn't to his son's liking and it offended his son and his son went to his dad? And again, as a parent, to a certain extent, what are you gonna do?
I mean, it's basketball though, like
it's sports.
You suck. Gonna talk about how you suck.
It don't matter who you is.
And just because your dad and LeBron don't mean that you can't get talked about like the rest of the basketball players.
But that goes back to earlier about the entitlement or the leadership. Because his dad LeBron, he feel like I can't be.
So sorry.
I can't be sorry.
But that's why I said it's to a certain extent. Because me on the outside looking in, again, if I know it's my child and my child offended or depending, again, what you say, I will stand in defense for my child. But that's why I said I don't know because I don't know what was said. So I can't say if it was offensive or not or give my full, opinion on it.
Grown ass man.
That's what he said?
No, just saying his son is a grown man.
I mean, he is. And I mean, at some point in time, too, you do have to allow your child to be free. You have to allow them to learn to protect their own self because at the end of the day, one day they're going to have their own family and they're going to be the king of their own thing. So that, or queen, or however the case. So that I do understand, too. But I ain't gonna lie. I don't care how old my child is. Depending on what you say, Mama Bear gonna kick in. I don't care what it is.
But
we playing
if your child plays sports, right?
If my child played sports and they were sorry, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be like one of the coolest parents, but I'm gonna be honest too. Like I'm not finna go lie and tell my child that they the best on.
You're not gonna do that.
No. One thing about it, two things for sure. Honesty is key. So no, I'm not gonna tell my child, "Oh, you just so sorry." No, I would never do that, especially if it's something that they enjoy.
Baby, it's just not working out.
I'm like, baby, we got to get you some more practice. And guess what I'm gonna do? Get them a trainer. There's something you want to do? We gonna invest in it. We gonna find a way to fix it. But I'm not finna lie and tell you like, "Oh, baby, you just great."
When they go to school, then like
you destined to be great.
You sorry, you like when they go to school, they gotta hear all the criticism.
It's all right. My mama got me a trainer.
Yeah, but
what your mama got you?
But you still lying to them though.
Oh, I'm not lying to them. They could train to be great, just like you could not be the fastest person on the track team, but you
great. But it's just not like something that
we're gonna make them great.
That's what they thought about Bronny.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
LeBron trained us.
Like, that don't already mean that.
But see, sometimes too, a lot of that comes from images, and that may not even be his son's passion for real. If we being honest, no, it could be just based on the image. Like my point exactly. So it ain't that he love it. He just love his daddy enough that he want to be like his daddy, or he could want the image that his dad has. But maybe his passion is like baseball or soccer or.
So you think LeBron as a parent wasn't wrong for that, like confronting him by something that he said about his son?
Again, depending on what was said. Like I gotta know what was said to get my true, honest opinion on that.
He's sorry. Like,
he said your child sorry.
He didn't necessarily say that, but he criticized him as a player, not as a LeBron son, but as a player.
Not as a human being, but physically just his gaming.
Yeah. Like,
was it anything disrespectful?
No. It was, LeBron took it as like, you doing too much. That's my son. Like, watch what you say. But this is the sport that comes. This is what comes with the sport.
I mean, true. At the same time, that's definitely facts. That's factuals all day. Criticism comes with anything in life that you want to do. You got to be able to take the good with the bad. So that's why I say, again, it depends on what he say. I'm not saying that my children cannot be criticized, because I love constructive criticism, because it helps make you a better person if you're a person willing to listen. But it's all about your approach and what you're saying. So if you approach my child in the wrong way, or you say the wrong thing to my child, naturally, yes.
But not to mention, he's not a child. He's a grown man.
Well, always be a child. My child could be 35 and I could be 85.
But
and guess
he's
what?
a grown man, so at the end of the day, like, I mean, he grown. He should be able to kind of respect that. Like, that's a man.
I mean, you gotta it is different with men and women to a certain extent. You gotta let a man be a man. But I'm just telling you, me personally, yeah, better come correct. Don't come wrong. But if you're being a coach, you constructive criticism, you're not saying nothing disrespectful. Yeah, he gotta learn how to take it. Because you can't think a person gonna always clap for you. You can't think that you're gonna always get good news. You can't think that it's always gonna be positive. And me as a human being, outside the parenting aspect, but as a human being, I know that. So I can't expect for nobody to always like your child number one just because you good.
So you don't think that, like, he just felt entitled?
Who, LeBron?
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent. And maybe in his mind, he false. No offense, LeBron, if you ever see this. But maybe in his mind, he false convinced himself that his son is better than what he really is, because he want his son to be great like him. So when he hear negativity, it may truly offend him because he want his son to be great. Like, he probably want to leave his legacy through his son, which is why I say, too, that may not even be his son's dream for real. That may not even be his passion.
It just was an example, though, of, like, what we was talking about. Like,
the entitlement and stuff.
In the leadership of what kids see, like, they fall into that. Because LeBron his daddy, and, you know, LeBron King James, he feel like, shit, I'm privileged the same way.
Most definitely. But it's always going to fall back on parenting. Because if I do know when you're at a certain level, or you're a celebrity or however, upper class, you can't put your child in every situation because you never know who's targeting you. But I do feel like, too, they take the kids too far away from a normal lifestyle, that they start young with this expectation that they're already better than everybody, and that, you know, they're this person because of you. You instilled that into them. You started at a young age. They would have never felt like that or thought that if you would have never implemented it.
I mean, yeah, true. But at the same time, it's like, okay, because I could tell you different, right? But because what you see me do, you're gonna feel like you. I could teach you how to be the most humble, You feel me? Even though you're privileged to a lot of things, but I can teach you how to be regular towards that and be humble, right? But despite what I teach you, you see the privilege that I get as your daddy, so you automatically still feel entitled to that.
It would be balanced. That's where you create balance in. Like, it's not like you can't have certain stuff, but also know that it's mine. It's not yours. This is who I am. You're your own person. So yes, you're connected to certain things by blood or by household or by things like that. But I want you to know who you are. I don't want everybody to be like, first of all, as a grown woman, if people, which I ain't gonna say I ain't never heard it, but if I was known as Trilla daughter everywhere I went, that would be aggravating. You have no identity. So if it's not for your parent, nobody would know you. I want my own identity. I'm my own person. That's what I would instill into my child. So Bronny, everybody know him as what? LeBron's son. That's your identity.
But what if Oprah was your mama?
I don't want to be known as Oprah daughter.
But you automatically got that title though.
No, it's based on the title you implement.
If you Oprah daughter, right? Despite what you do, people gonna look at you as Oprah daughter.
No, that's when you create a name for yourself. You do something for yourself.
You can, but at the end of the day, you still gonna be Oprah daughter.
No, that's how they met you, but that ain't how they gonna know me. Got me messed up. They gonna know me by something else.
I'm saying, oh yeah, true. They will, because you can establish a brand for yourself. But
okay, so like with the LeBron situation, you love basketball so much, right?
Yeah.
That you literally follow right behind your daddy and go to the same team playing under your daddy.
I think that was a goal though for LeBron to do.
Again, for LeBron. We're talking about where do your identity come in at? Everything you do results back to your daddy and his image. You don't have your own image.
So you think that Bronny would be able to create an identity for himself in the NBA without LeBron being a co-sign of it?
He could have.
You don't think it's possible? Still.
Not the route they going. And y'all said to me, I'm sorry.
I ain't say he's sorry.
I'm just trying to be
saying he's not ready for the NBA. That's all.
My point exactly. So that lets you know too with power, and again, it's based off of his dad. You got pulled to be in the NBA, and you ain't even good enough for college, yet alone you in the NBA. You probably shouldn't even be on the high school basketball team the way y'all talking, and he in the NBA. Why? Because of his daddy. So again, you still feeding off of somebody else's image.
That's also like the example of a parent though. Still
fall back on parenting. You don't even want your child to have his own name. It's all about you. You want to shine through your son even when you ain't here.
I mean, it's always gonna be like that though.
No.
They in the same league, they play together. So it's like
that's why they should never did that. Like if I want you to literally, the goal should always be, yes, set your children up for success. Most definitely. Acres, houses, all that, investments, good stuff. Teach them about it at a young age so they know what it is. But be your own person. Don't, if I have a business and I leave a business behind, I don't want my child to take over the business itself if they're not passionate about it. You wanna know why? Because eventually it's gonna fall apart anyways. Because they don't care about it. So my thing
is, that
don't
mean that it won't be successful though.
They would be successful, but my business wouldn't. So why would I leave you my business? I want you to find who you are and like what you are. So that business you can implement into your own business. Do something that you. So my business wouldn't fail because you're just gonna flip it. But it's gonna be something you're passionate about.
So how would you structure that?
What you mean?
If you want your business, like if you want your child to be a brand for themselves, right? Mm-hmm. But you give them opportunity to run a brand. right? They don't have to have the passion for the brand to have the success that it needs.
No. Okay. So if they run a brand or something under me, it's strictly for the experience. That's it. I want you to get the experience and the knowledge out of it, which is why what I do when I go from job to job, it's about the experience and the knowledge. The more experience and knowledge you have, the more successful your own business will be. The more you would know the ins and the outs and different connects and protocols and the paperwork and stuff like that. That's why it's good to be working in a warehouse so you get like the labor aspect of it, but also being in the office so you get the customer service aspect of it, the business aspect of it. You see it from both parts. But I will personally again implement it into my own business, and I would just want them to take the proceeds, and if it's a building that's already paid for, which that's the dream, they could renovate it and do it the way that they want, so and turn it into what they wanted based on whatever proceeds is left behind. But do again what you're passionate about, because as long as you're passionate about it, it's gonna be successful. But if I leave something that I'm passionate about and they're doing it because it's my legacy and something I left behind, they may keep it up for a year, 2, maybe even 5. Maybe even 10. Eventually, though, they're going to stop giving a fuck about it, and it's gonna fade away.
I mean,
so I don't, that's why I rather invest into land, and so they ain't gonna sell no land. You gonna want somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
You gonna want somewhere to stay, especially the way that is market and economy going up.
But if you already got a career going for yourself, and then it's like LeBron was already playing basketball. So it's only it's gonna be a high chance that his kids gonna want to do the same thing he did because he the hero, right? So it's not really like you establishing a brand for them, because they can just literally want to be you.
That's true too, but sometimes too they can be chasing the image. Like they just want the image behind what you get. Like they see you doing this and what come with you doing it.
To chase that image, I have to be that.
So, and the way y'all talking, he's not that. So he need to find out what's for him. That's what I'm saying. Hey. I still want him to find out who he is. That's the biggest thing. Right now, the way that it sounds is basketball is not for him. And I love everything that him and his daddy been able to do together. I love the bonding. I love Brian being there and being an active father and all that other stuff. But now that they done had their little showtime, it's time for them to figure out what his son really is good at.
So what you think about like the parenting of that? Okay, like with him being raised with 2 parents, right? Like, how do you think that? Okay, LeBron and his wife been together, and I'm just using them for example, but like, just say you got 2 people like them that's been married for like, a long period of time.
20 plus years.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. And you see the way that they raise their kids to do other things, but they choose to still do what already been built. Like LeBron, a basketball player, right? That was a legacy and brand that was already built. Mm-hmm. Now, you can raise them to do whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, my dad did this, so I'm going to do this. They don't have to, but they still choose to. And even if they suck at it or they good at it, like, how would you still support them as a leader in an example?
I mean, I'm going to support them anything that they want to do. So
even if they bad at it?
I'm going to still support them. Like I said, I'm going to get them training. Like, if it's something you really want to do, don't mean...
And if they still don't get it?
So you use it... So you using Bron's son as an example? Because that's what he's getting at. Like, he ain't good, but you still... Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I would truly, honestly keep pushing my child. Like, I'm going to support them wholeheartedly if that's what they want to do. And I'm definitely... I'm a firm believer... if it's something you're passionate about or you truly enjoy doing, it's impossible not to get better at it. You only don't get better at something you truly, honestly don't enjoy doing.
Okay.
You could, no, but let's just be real. Name one person you know, or name one thing about yourself, even if you don't know nobody, that was passionate about something and at some point did not be successful with it. Even if they didn't go all the way, it was still some type of success. Like you seen the improvement in what you were doing or what they were doing because they were passionate about it.
It depends on like what you call success, because like
improvement.
Yeah, but that could just be for yourself.
No,
I said be to the satisfaction of you going to the next level.
I just said that though. I'm not saying that you made it to the highest level of completion. I'm not saying that you became a singer. I'm not saying that you made it to the BET Awards, but you seen some success. You seen improvement. Okay. You got better rapping. Well, you got, drawing.
Author for sake, right? Mm-hmm. You don't become you're not New York best time seller, but you was able to sell a book. Right? You was able to sell a book.
Yeah.
You was passionate about writing, telling stories, and you sold a book, but you didn't make it to the Times Square.
Right.
None of that.
But you still stole some.
Yeah. You sold a book, yeah. But that just because your success is that I just want to sell a book. To hear somebody listen and read to my read of my knowledge and my story. Right? That could be their success. But another person's success could be being New York #1 time seller.
But okay, that's where you keep thriving, because when you write your first book, let me tell you something. When you write your first book, you sell a couple. When you write your second book, you sell more than you sold the first time. Just like with your songs. But great example, just like with the podcast, the more you put into it, the more you receive back from it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same with your books, the same with anything that you enjoy. It's not going to be successful the first time you do it, but you see progress.
Yeah.
You see improvement, correct?
Correct. But what if your success your success is that you seeing okay, I sold a book.
I mean, if a person want to be bare minimum, that's on them, but I'm just saying.
But that could be success to them.
And that's cool.
So success could be different to different people. Your success might be different from my success.
Correct, but the whole purpose of it
is what? Success, right? Being successful. So I could be successful selling just a book. Your success is #1 time seller.
But when you ask me what do I mean by successful, I say anything that's improvement. So if your goal is to sell one book and you sold that one book, cool. If your goal is to be on New York Times and every time again you write a book or you promote yourself or whatever, you get another sale. You one book closer to being to New York Times. You one book closer to somebody in New York or Europe or Saudi Arabia. You never know where you might get, but different people learning who you are, reading your book, and leaving that impact. And before you know it, your name is going to be ringing, your book's going to be ringing, and then different people going to start reaching out to you. And it may start with a small offer or a small radio station before you even make it to New York Times. But it's improvement. It's progress. You're elevating. It's better than the last news or the first news. That's the point of it. That's the goal. So when it comes down to my child, because that's how we got there, I don't care how bad they are at it. If it's something they're passionate about, they're slowly going to improve and continue to improve and continue to improve. But if you're not improving, I'm going to take it as it's something you're not passionate about. But am I going to tell my child to stop? No, because if you want to keep doing it, keep doing it. But I'm also going to make sure that they know, do it for you. Make sure it's something you really want to do. Don't think
even though he just fail.
Yes, because if you saying that he want to be like his dad, and his dad never sat down and said, "Well, I want you to know, I love you. I love us playing basketball together. I love that we bond in this way. But I just want you to know you don't have to play basketball for me. Do it for you. And I want you to know and understand too, we could bond in other ways outside of basketball. Because maybe he feel like that's the only way that he could bond with his dad, or that's the best way because his dad always at a game. He's always traveling. His dad enjoy basketball. So that's something he may feel like we got the best connection when we do that. Like I could really, connect with my dad when it comes down to basketball. So maybe that's why he do it. You never know. But I think it's definitely about, the biggest thing is knowing your child, paying attention to your child, finding what your child enjoys doing, investing into them. Because I feel like a lot of times, I'll keep it short, but I feel like a lot of times when it comes to parenting, it's not always that a parent don't want to do something, but I know sometimes it's time consuming. Like a lot of kids want to play football and cheer and do certain things, but based on having being a single parent, having to work, not having the proper finances, things like that, a lot of kids can't do the things that they enjoy doing. So we got to get back to having that village, that unit, that support. Now it ain't got so bad that nobody want to really support each other. Nobody want to help each other. Nobody want to babysit. Everybody busy. Everybody want to talk about everybody.
We get back to that, like, to that whole community of support, because it's like no one support anything without judgment. It has to be a why we just can't support without reasons.
Now, being the fact that I support without reasons, I can't really answer that one. But I would say it start with getting a group of like-minded people, I feel like. So getting a group of leaders, a group of people that truly, honestly want to make a change, that is truly passionate about making a change, that care about the kids and care about the next generation. And when it starts with that group getting together, creating ideas, creating events, doing things like that, and it start getting a reaction, it'll bring more people out. This world's so big on following that it may not be successful in the beginning when the organization or whatever it is created.
It always start out slow, but I might not like what you do, right? Mm-hmm. But because you're a black person and it's for a good cause, even though I don't like it, I still could support it. Right. But because we don't like something, even though it helping many people, and it's impacting the whole culture. Mm-hmm. But because I don't like it, I won't support it. Why you think that it's like that? Why you think that people just don't look at the bigger picture of what it's doing for others than what it could do for them?
Because everybody more selfish. Everybody for self. Everybody want to be greater than the next person. Everybody want to be richer than the next person. Everybody want to look better. It's more competition.
So again, do you think it's ego, or do you think it's just like the competitive for it?
I mean, I feel like ego definitely played a part in it, but to clock it, start back with parenting. Because, and you gonna say that it's crazy, but it do, because when it started at a young age, instead of like teaching kids to be supportive of helping, or I done seen a video before where a child took off his shoes and gave them to another child that was getting picked up on. Love it. Because they kept him from getting picked on. Another child asked his parent to buy a new pair of shoes so he could take them to school to another kid. Love it. But when you got parents I'm not saying don't take care of your child. I'm not saying don't make sure your child look good. But when it comes to overdoing it, especially like we spoke about before, when it comes to prom, and everybody being...
I thought you said porn. Prom? You said prom? Okay. Oh, yeah, porn. What? We can talk about kids. You ain't talking about I'm tripping.
Well, I can tell by your face. I'm like, okay, hold on. But no, like even when it comes to prom, and like how everything is a big competition, I feel like that started home. Allow your child to look good, but it be too much competitiveness with everybody wanting their child to look better than the next child, or trying to make their self or their household seem more put together than the next person. So if a child is 5 years old, we could say 5 to 7, and you throwing them mention parties with horses and they got limos and they got all this, by 13, 15, 16, what do they expect? Because you started off already so big. Yeah. So now they got this false narrative, like, again, and you gonna always try to do bigger or better than what you did the year before. So now you done already set this standard in their own mind. They got them thinking that they better than everybody else, and then you got all the other kids from the neighborhood coming over here all happy and excited because their birthdays ain't never like this. Yeah. So and I ain't saying don't give them good, but like dim it down a little bit.
You blame the parent
all day. No matter what the subject is, I'm going to result it back to the parenting. Because kids go based off what they see, what they hear, what they're taught.
But you got some kids who taught the opposite and still successful of being a good individual at the end of the day. Because even though certain kids wasn't raised with the right parenting, they still turn out to be great people. Some, not all. But so you like parenting plays a part still, but at the end of the day, it's all what that person want out of life.
After a certain age, yes, I do believe it's based on what you want out of life. But as a minor, I feel like it's based on what is instilled into you. And it may not always be a parent, but just a guardian. Just like sometimes it may not be your parents at home, but it may be a teacher or a mentor or a coach or somebody along the way that you trusted enough to listen to them. To again, they made you feel comfortable. They made you feel heard. They made you feel seen.
So who you listen to that impacted you to be who you are?
Honestly,
like who that one person that like she never told me nothing wrong, even if I didn't want to hear it.
Honestly, I'd say my daddy, my mama too, but okay. So my mama was more of like, give it to you blood raw, even if I didn't want to hear it, even if I didn't like it, it was gonna make me cry, whatever. And then my daddy was more of like my confidant, my shoulder to cry on, my comfort. So my protector. Like he kept me from getting whipping, stuff like that. So it was like I still had that. Like if I didn't have my dad with just like my mom being so direct and firm the way she was, I probably wouldn't have been the way that I was or am. But yeah, my daddy was probably my confidant, like my go-to.
So despite what mama said, you always want dad.
You can say that. I'm gonna listen to my mama though. I'm gonna listen to my mama.
But I'm saying like, mama gonna always tell you, right? But daddy gonna have the most impact.
Most definitely, without a doubt. Like I'd be hard headed and not listen to something my mama said. Like still do it my way. But if my daddy tell me, I'd be like, all right, you gonna and then I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. And the reason I say that because like, you know, it's always that one person that influence our life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that can be for the good and the bad. Because we see that go different directions, like, many ways. And the reason I said that because, like, with the Big Meech and 50 situation, right? Lil Meech looked at 50 more than just a mentor or somebody putting him, like, it was like a father figure because his dad wasn't there. Right. You know what I'm saying? But because of his dad being who he is, even though he has this attachment to the person that really showed him certain things out of life, he still side with his daddy. You get what I'm saying? Even though he not really like, he his father, but that don't mean that he making the best decisions as a father for him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you got that one person, you feel me? But then when you don't got like that one person of a parent, where you end up. Because, yeah, Lil Meech had his mama, but his daddy was like the hero. You get what I'm saying? But he was incarcerated. So then you got 50 showing the leadership. You feel me? Like, of a man, believed in him, made him see something that he ain't seen himself, right? But at the end of the day, he still go against all that for his daddy. Even though this man has impacted his life in a huge way, changed his life, the parenting of it all, like you say, meets his daddy still.
I just about to say, at the end of the day, it's still gonna boil down to a lot of resentment comes from false parenting, parents not being there, lack of love, lack of attention, all that great stuff. So, as humans and kids, we're going to always love the people that was there, but it's never going to take away from the original relationship that you're going to want from the people you know made you. The people, like, that's why people that get adopted or going to foster care be so resentful, because they're like, okay, what did I do to deserve this, or be in this situation, or why my parent didn't want me? And then they get great parents and love them to death, but if they ever have the opportunity to meet their real parent, they be want to know, whether it's just to see you, whether it's just to get closure, ask questions, because it's going to always be that physical, that, I can't say physical connection, but it's going to always be some type of connection there, because that's who made you, that's who bears you, that's who carried you. Like, so even if you never spend no time with them, you're going to still have some type of desire or hatred or feeling towards the situation, because that was supposed to be your safe haven. But God going to always give you something greater. So that's why they still get placed with great families for the most part. They still get to experience love in some way, shape, or form. And again, it's not always by the people that create us, but as long as everybody got one person to make them feel loved, seen, supported, heard, we'll continue thriving. As a culture and a community, I just feel like we need to have more events, invest more, do more counseling, support each other more, but definitely look more into the kids, invest more into the kids, take them more places, travel with them. Like, this is the income tax season. Everybody should be taking their kids somewhere. Everybody. I don't care who you is. Take them somewhere. Like, these kids got to see more than the four walls at home and the projects outside and the school walls.
What you think, like, the start of that is, like, showing them something different? Like, okay, just say, if you want your kid to be more into further their education, I'm going to use that, right? Mm-hmm. You want them to further their education, but you're not teaching them anything outside of school to help them do that, right? But you expecting them to be this person in life, right? But you're not, like, taking them to museums so they study history. You're not teaching them, like, culture things as a person. You feel what I'm saying? To understand that, like, education goes farther than just school. It goes into, like, who you are as a person, the history, where we come from. Like, it goes way farther.
The rooms you walk into.
Yeah, it goes way farther than school. But if you're not, like, being that example to show them that it's more than just school, then how you expect them to go, you feel me, towards that?
I mean, if they're not guided to that direction, hopefully one day at some age, like most of us do, we pick our own direction after a certain age, and then we learn from what we experienced as kids and know that we don't want that in our adult life, or we know that we want different. But I feel like even if it's not like further education, like true college, at least start teaching your kids more about trades, schools, stuff like that. So when all the labor jobs or quick jobs start shutting down or they're being replaced, you have a trade that you could take somewhere else and still make some money. Yet long trade school, not as long as like if you're going to school to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, because school is not for everybody. So if they know they could go to school for 6 months, 9 months, maybe even a year and a half, and be done and have a certificate, a diploma, whatever, they'll be more prone to do it. But I feel like it's the lack of knowledge within the Black community, which of course I do know culturally, Caucasians kind of wanted it that way. But us now having the power, the leverage, the freedom, and stuff that we have, I feel like as a culture, we just have to start implementing that more into each other instead of being crabs in a bucket and wanting to have more knowledge than the next person or more power than the next person or be on a different level, when in reality we all should be on the level together and every other culture should be under us. Like we competing with the wrong people and helping the wrong people. So yeah, they acting like it's the Krabby Patty formula, and it is what it is. But yeah, I pray for us as a culture all the time. And I do see, because I want to get it for shout out, but I do see all the people that are out there that are trying, that are helping, that is trying to make a difference, that want a difference. It just takes more than just them. We have a small army out there trying, but it's way too many of us to have this little baby army.
It take more, and it's getting there. You know what I'm saying? It's getting there. It's a start. Long way to go, but
most definitely
we getting there. And hopefully we'll see change.
We will. I'm determined.
Soon.
I'm determined.
Sooner than later. Yeah. Yeah. We gonna wrap it up here. Feel like they should get a good message from that.
Hopefully, some good knowledge, some change.
Yeah. So if you want to hear more, please like, share, subscribe. We get more of that. Well, this is your boy Ballin' Boy Trey, man.
And your girl Boss Pretty.
One time for the one time. One try, together we vibe.
Good energy, high vibrations.
Great conversations. Is what we provide.
Yep. And then I try to do it without